go. I have everyone. All right.
Leanne was supposed to be the We're ready to call this meeting to order. If everyone would please sit down. Thank you. I will now call the May quarterly meeting of the Board of Trustees of Illinois State University to order. I note for the record that the notice of today's meeting was posted in accordance with the Illinois Meetings Act, and that the public has been notified of the date, time, and location of this meeting. As included in the notice of the meeting, the university has provided a YouTube link that allows all interested persons to contemporaneously view the meeting and hear all discussion and votes. For the record, I note that one of our board members is participating by telephone in accordance with the provisions of the Open Meetings Act. A member not physically present at the meeting and participating through other means needs to state the reason they are prevented from physically attending, such as 1, personal illness or disability, 2, employment purposes, or 3, a family or medical emergency. If you are participating by phone, please state the reason you cannot attend in person when your name is read. Trustee Bone, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Bone, present. Trustee Dobsky.
Here.
Trustee Donahue.
Present.
Trustee Jones. Trustee Lauterbach.
Here.
Trustee Navarro.
Present. I'm participating remotely due to medical reasons.
Trustee Peony.
Here.
Chairperson Lauterbach, we have a quorum.
Thank you, Trustee Bone. Now could I have a motion and a second to permit Trustee Navarro to join us by telephone to officially attend and participate in today's meeting?
So move.
So moved by
Second.
Trustee Bone. Second?
Second.
Trustee Donahue. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is approved. Trustee Navarro, you may participate in today's meeting by telephone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You have before you the agenda for today's meeting. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda?
So move.
Trustee Bone moves. Second? Trustee Peony. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. You have before you the regular meeting minutes of February 18, 2022. Do I have a second, or do I have a motion
So
to
moved.
accept? A second?
So moved.
A second?
Navarro.
All those in
Navarro,
favor?
second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Next on the agenda is public comment. We have no one who has signed in to indicate an interest for public comment to the board today, so we will continue on. At this time, no, we're not doing that today. So now we'll start again with good morning. And thank you for joining us for the May 6, 2022 quarterly meeting of the Board of Trustees. Earlier this morning, the Campus Communication Committee hosted a very informative discussion. I want to thank the committee and Dr. John Davenport. I think you're here. Dr. Carrie Hobner, Dr. Jonathan Lackland, okay, still here, for their time this morning. We very much appreciate the information shared about the mental health crisis among the college students, the university's varied and thorough approach to providing care for our students, and recent mental health legislation in Illinois. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I want to extend our congratulations to our May graduates, including Trustee Peony. Congratulations. As you know, you're joining a wide network of Illinois State alumni, including many of us on the board. We look forward to learning more about your future accomplishments and those of your fellow May graduates as we spend the next 2 days congratulating all of them. At this time, I turn to President Kinsey for your kind words.
Thank you, Chairperson Lauterbach. I want to congratulate our May graduates. Can you feel the energy on campus today? It's awesome. Illinois State University will award approximately 3,349 baccalaureate degrees and 695 graduate degrees for what is this ceremony, which is spring and summer of 2022. Now, for our graduates that are here or watching, this is certainly a momentous occasion, and we are just so proud of you. You have shown perseverance in the face of a very unique and challenging time in our history, and you have much to be proud of as you celebrate your many accomplishments. Devin, I want to extend my personal best wishes to you and your family as you graduate and begin law school at the University of Wisconsin-Madison this fall.
Thank you.
We will formally acknowledge your role as a student trustee later in today's meeting, but I want to thank you for your hard work and dedication throughout this year. You have represented your fellow students well, and we have all enjoyed working with you and learning from you. Speaking of graduations, I want to give a special thanks to graduation services in the Dean of Students office, specifically Jill Benson and Terry Hare, for their tireless efforts in coordinating Illinois State University commencement ceremonies and the Redbird Stage Crossing happening just down the hallway, if you didn't figure that one out, for our graduates and their families. As you might expect, they are not able to be here with us this morning because they are at Redbird Stage Crossing. But with their leadership, there are more than 200 university volunteers that work over a span of 7 days to ensure that our students and their families have a truly memorable and the best experience ever. With that said, we are all looking forward to an amazing commencement weekend. So there's much to reflect on as we look back at the spring semester. In March, the Illinois Board of Higher Education unanimously and enthusiastically approved a new College of Engineering at Illinois State University. The college, which was designed with an equity lens, will help close long-standing gaps in enrollment, retention, and graduation of underrepresented and underserved students in engineering, which will help to reach our national goal of increasing the STEM pipeline. Now, once established, the College of Engineering will offer 3 degree programs in electrical, mechanical, and general engineering. With board approval, the university anticipates that the first class of an estimated 120 to 130 students will enroll for the fall 2025 semester, hoping to reach 520 students by the time we reach a full 4-year class. I also want to mention that in support of our university sustainability efforts, we recently celebrated Earth Day with an amazing breakfast hosted by the Office of Sustainability and sponsored by the Department of Geography, Geology, and the Environment, the Center for Civic Engagement, and the Student Sustainability Committee. The event was sold out, and it was held in the now Aaron Leach Stadium Club. This was also a zero-waste event, and local food was sourced by our partners at EXO. One of our speakers was Trustee Peony, who reflected on how being a student trustee and an active student was a part of her experience here, which was really inspirational for our students that were there. And our keynote speaker, Chad Pregasi, founder of Living Lands and Waters, really inspired the attendees with his story of one person making a difference in the world. In addition, the Arbor Day Foundation has announced that Illinois State has again earned Tree Campus designation for 2021. These events occur just as the university is reaching the final stages of developing a sustainability strategic plan, which will be shared with the board in July. I'm happy to say that I've officially appointed our committee, which is also a requirement of our state, which is really making an effort to have our public universities make significant advancements in sustainability. Another exciting event on April 9th was a groundbreaking ceremony held for our athletics indoor practice facility. Just to remind you, the Board of Trustees approved this facility during the December 11th, 2021 meeting. That was pretty fast. The facility will be built in the location of our current football practice field, which is just to the north of Horton Field House. Now, this facility is going to be open to all of our Redbird teams, as well as a variety of academic and recreational programs. And when construction is complete, this is definitely going to ease congestion in the good old Horton Field House, which can be used now as an indoor practice area, but is also used by our kinesiology and recreation program, Gamma Phi Circus, and ROTC. So the indoor practice facility is targeted for completion in spring of 2023. Or not soon enough for our athletic programs, if you ask them. The university has also continued with its celebration of 50 years of Title IX with several outstanding events that recognize this important milestone. Now, the year-long celebration is going to culminate on June 24th through 26th of this year, just after the anniversary of Title IX on June 23rd, with a big celebration on campus and a lot of returning student athletes. The School of Kinesiology and Recreation has also been very involved in the celebration, and their recent conference included physical education alum Chris Volz, who graduated in 1970. As a keynote speaker, she told firsthand accounts of the transition in women's athletics that occurred as part of the legislation for Title IX. She's a 4-sport athlete at Illinois State and a member of our athletics Percy Family Hall of Fame, where she was inducted in 1982. She's been a staunch advocate for female athletes throughout her career, and I would just add that she is one of the 100 most important people in sports for the last century, which puts her in amazing, amazing company for her accomplishments. And then speaking of Redbird athletics, our student athletes have really been successful this spring. Illinois State University is home to the Missouri Valley champions in women's tennis, golf, volleyball, and basketball, all leading to their competition in respective NCAA tournaments. In fact, our women's tennis team will be playing against the dreaded Ohio State Buckeyes, I'm looking at you, Ryan, tomorrow in Columbus. We also saw a success in women's gymnastics, where freshman Jay Mack competed at the 2020 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship. She's only the second individual in Illinois State history to qualify for the NCAA Championship. Add to that swimming and diving and men's and women's indoor track earned second place titles in the conference as well. But it's not just that. Our students are excelling in the classroom, and we want to highlight Mary Crompton, a member of the women's basketball team who was named an academic All-American for the 21-22 season. This is an amazing accomplishment. She was just the second Redbird in program history to earn that honor, joining Beth Landis-Ersman, who won the award in 1980. Mary was also named Missouri Valley Conference Scholar Athlete of the Year. So let's just say it. Our women's athletics has really shined as we celebrate Title IX. I want to do a couple of introductions and thank you today as we reach the end of the semester. And so first, let's start by recognizing two members of our athletics program that have just joined us. One is Coach Ryan Peeden. Coach Peeden comes to us from The Ohio State University, where he has spent the last 5 seasons. In his time with the Buckeyes, OSU has a record of 106-53, with an NCAA tournament berth during each of his seasons in Columbus, including 2 trips to the NCAA second round. Ryan, would you stand up and be recognized? Our second introduction is Coach Allie Matters. Coach Matters joins the Redbird volleyball program after 4 seasons as the head coach at Wright State University. She led the Raiders to 2 NCAA tournament appearances, 2 Horizon League regular season titles, and a Horizon League tournament title. Allie, could you please stand to be recognized by our community? We're looking forward to great things for both of you. Your records are impeccable, and your enthusiasm is contagious. So make sure that y'all get out and support our teams. What we know is that our Redbirds are always out there making a name and creating an impression, whether it's academic achievements, advances in equity, diversity, and inclusion, service learning, or in various competitive arenas. We have much to be proud of. So let me share a couple recent highlights. The Department of History had 3 national distinctions, with the announcement of Amy Wood and Katie Jasper being selected for National Endowment of the Humanities grants, and Amy Wood being selected for the prestigious fellowship with the National Humanities Centers. These are incredibly, incredibly competitive awards to win, so we're very proud of them. Nick Rhodes from the School of Biological Sciences, with the oversight of his professor Tom Hammond, won a Cazzarelli Prize from the National Academy of Sciences. This is an honor bestowed on the 6 most important scientific papers that are published among 3,500 papers in the proceedings of the National Academy. Ian Freeman, who is a junior with triple majors in physics, computational physics, and mathematics, was named a Barry Goldwater Scholar. This award is one of the most prestigious scholarships for students in STEM. And in the area of equity, diversity, and inclusion, Illinois State University continues to move forward to make strides in this area. During the 21-22 academic year, our campus welcomed its first cohort of search advocates, individuals who are trained to promote efforts that improve equity, diversity, and inclusivity within the search and hiring process. Additionally, the Office of Provost Tarhuli has announced a $4.5 million commitment to increase faculty diversity in all of its forms through the Faculty Diversity Enhancement Program. Our Redbirds are also out there serving. As part of Alternative Spring Break this year, 109 Redbirds served 3,436 hours across the country and the world. And it doesn't stop there. In 2 weeks, we're sending a group of 13 Redbirds to Kenya. We're so excited that these opportunities are back in practice at Illinois State. And the Redbirds esports Overwatch team participated in the NACE Collegiate Star League Grand Finals. They finished the season number 2 and are looking forward to this weekend where they will compete in Atlanta for the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup, hosted by Collegiate Sports Management Group in partnership with the Atlanta Hawks and Skillshot. So these are all very impressive. Can we give this group of individuals and teams a round of applause for all of their contributions? So what's next, you may ask? Well, we're looking forward to the 22-23 academic year. And enrollment for our fall is looking very positive. Enrollment deposits for first-time in college students are up 19% compared to this time last year. Transfer admits are up 3%, and graduate admits are up 10%. Continuing student registration for the fall is up 17% for undergraduate students and 14% for graduate students. And what this means actually is we are so popular that we have actually had to stop deposits for first-year students at Illinois State University this week. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention COVID-19 and its impact on this academic year. And what I really want to say is how proud I am of our students, faculty, and staff for their perseverance and dedication during challenging and really unusual times. I offer my sincere thanks for your hard work this year in keeping our campus community healthy and safe, while continuing to be flexible, adaptable, and persevere. And perhaps most importantly, doing so while continuing to follow public health guidelines. Your efforts have allowed the university to continue its mission of teaching and learning, as well as provided opportunities for more and more in-person activities and events as our year has progressed. As the pandemic enters an endemic stage, we are emerging a stronger institution. And the care you've shown for each other, and the fact that I haven't had complaints of people yelling at each other or not treating each other with respect over their opinions, just shows the quality of the individuals in our campus and their respect for each other and their each independent positions on important topics. Now, as you may be aware, on April 19th, Governor Pritzker signed the fiscal year 23 budget into law. The earliest ever, Jonathan, perhaps? Yeah, right, so we were all happily surprised, which provides much needed increases in funding for higher education. Now, Dr. Jonathan Lackland will provide some more details, but just quickly to say, a 5% increase in operating budget for both this year as a supplemental appropriation and next year is pretty good. This is finally raising our state appropriation to levels of $73.1 million. But really importantly, the budget also includes significant increases in funding for the Need-Based Monetary Award Program, or MAP. And that program already provides support to 6,000 Illinois State students. Now, we really appreciate the governor's commitment to higher education, but as you know, we need more than state funding, and our alumni and friends continue to impress with their generosity. At the end of April, private gift support was already topping $29 million. That is already, before the year has ended, so you still have time to help, the third largest in Illinois State University history by more than $3.8 million. Just recently, an anonymous donor made a $5 million deferred gift commitment for the College of Education, which is one of the largest gift commitments in the university's history. Now, alumni engagement and university marketing communications has launched the premiere episode of the Redbird Buzz podcast on Monday. There's a very special guest. Now, while I'm not at liberty to say who it was, you can find that by searching for Redbird Buzz on Spotify, Google, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Feedback is welcome. As I wrap up my comments, this is the time where we recognize the following individuals for their service to Illinois State University. First, we want to thank Jim Wolfinger, who will be leaving the institution at the end of May as Dean of the College of Education. He's unable to join us this morning, but we wish him well in his new position at St. John's University in Queens, New York. At the next meeting, we will be welcoming Francis Ebenezer Godwin to join Illinois State on June 1st as the Dean of the College of Education. He currently serves as Dean in the College of Education and Human Services at Western Illinois University. We also want to congratulate Lisa Houston, who served as Illinois State University's General Counsel for more than 22 years and retired on April 30th. to a party that was full of all of the icons of Illinois State recent history. Jeannie Barrett will assume the role of General Counsel on June 1, 2022. She currently serves as Senior Associate General Counsel in the Office of Legal Affairs at Georgia State University. Another congratulations, which we say with a little bit of sadness, is for Diane Zosky, the Interim Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, who is retiring on June 30th. Now, Diane, who's standing right there, started her career as an alum in 1980, and that path led her back to Illinois State University, from which she now retires. Now, thank you, Diane, for your outstanding leadership. You've been a wonderful partner, and we look forward to celebrating your many contributions to Illinois State this summer. We will be joined soon by Heather Dillaway, who will begin as Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences July 16th, and comes to Illinois State from Wayne State University outside of Detroit, where she serves as an Associate Dean in the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So much going on campus. And lastly, congratulations to Interim Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs, Roberta Sillinger-Treitz, who will be retiring from Illinois State University after serving in various administrative roles since joining the university as an assistant professor in 1991. Unfortunately, she is working up to the last minute and unable to join us, but again, we thank her for her commitments. At this point, can we give all of these individuals a round of applause? I would now like to call on the spokesperson for the Campus Communication Committee, Dr. Martha Callison-Horst, Professor of Music Theory and Composition in the Wonsuk Kim College of Fine Arts, School of Music, and Chair of the Academic Senate, for a report.
I'm the first one here today. The Campus Communication Committee would like to thank our coffee hour speakers, Assistant Vice President and Dean of Students John Davenport, Interim Director of Student Counseling Services Carrie Hobner, and Director of Government Relations Jonathan Lackland for their report this morning on student mental health and related state mental health initiatives. Students, faculty, and staff are still facing mental health issues resulting from the pandemic of the past 2 years. Students report being wiped out after completing an emotionally taxing year. Other students report positive interaction with their peers, both inside the classroom and outside at various in-person programs throughout the year. Although returning to campus and face-to-face instruction was exciting, it was also emotionally draining for some of our students. Nevertheless, we do have cause for celebration this weekend. The Campus Communication Committee would like to congratulate our new alumni of Illinois State University. ISU will award approximately 3,349 baccalaureate degrees and 695 graduate degrees this spring and summer. The class of 2022 should be enormously proud of their accomplishments. They have had to deal with situations and conflicts that few alumni before them have had to face. We applaud not only their academic achievements, but also their perseverance. In addition to celebrating the achievements of the class of 2022, May is a time to reflect on the events of the past year and even the past 5 years, and to take note of how the university community has responded to issues confronted during this period. During this past year, despite challenging moments between the administration and 2 unions, ASME Local 1110 and SEIU Local 73, we are pleased that there was a successful resolution to the negotiations between the university and these bargaining units. We acknowledge the efforts of the administration to gather data via 2 campus climate surveys for faculty and staff. And we look forward to the results of these surveys and the next steps to address employee satisfaction. In the area of diversity, Dr. Doris Houston, Interim Assistant to the President for Diversity and Inclusion, recently presented a 5-year review of the 2017 Campus Climate Task Force Plan to the academics. Senators observed that Senators observed that Illinois State University has made significant strides in student recruitment, retention, and graduation rates of diverse students. We also continue to work towards the successful implementation of the newly passed IDEAS graduation requirement, which will aid in creating an inclusive classroom and campus environment for all. We are optimistic that the Provost's $4.5 million Faculty Diversity Enhancement Program will increase the percentage of underrepresented minority faculty here at Illinois State University. This past year was tremendous for Illinois State University women's athletics. The Campus Communication Committee wishes to celebrate the achievements of women's volleyball, golf, tennis, gymnastics, and basketball teams. Members from each of these teams made NCAA tournament appearances, and the volleyball, golf, tennis, and basketball teams won their Missouri Valley Conference tournaments. In addition, the GPA of student athletes continues to be high. We are thrilled that the success of Illinois State University women athletes coincided with the 50th anniversary of Title IX. As we come to the end of this academic year, there is not only much to reflect upon, but also much to look forward to. After working with the learning management system called ReggieNet for the past several years, the campus community is looking forward to adopting a new program in 2023. Students, faculty, and staff are participating in the analysis of a potential new LMS to replace ReggieNet. We acknowledge the significant amount of work ahead for IT professionals across the campus and thank them in advance for their efforts. We also continue to anticipate the creation of the new College of Engineering at Illinois State University. The Campus Communication Committee gives its full endorsement of the College of Engineering proposal in front of the Board of Trustees today. We are particularly proud of the equity lens of this proposal. This is an important step not only for Illinois State University, but also for the state of Illinois. Another way that Illinois State University is striving to meet the workforce needs of the state is via the construction of the new Mennonite College of Engineering Simulation Lab. The facility, with an additional 20,000 square feet, will make space for more nursing students to be admitted to the program. We have all come a long way this year, and we all have much to look forward to. With that, I will conclude by saying, go you Redbirds.
Thank you, Dr. Horst. I would like to invite Dr. Jonathan Lackland to the podium to provide a legislative update.
Thank you, President Kinsey and Board of Trustees. I'd like to highlight the budget House Bill 900, which the governor signed April 19th as Public Act 102-0698. And in that, what the governor did is it contains capital reappropriations for Illinois State University. That is a continuation of the governor's Rebuild Illinois Capital Infrastructure Program, as well as operational funding. Specifically, the FY23 operations budget contains a 5% increase for operations for ISU for $73.1 million to meet our operational expenses for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2023. The budget also contains $25,000, which is appropriated from the State College and University Trust Fund to ISU for scholarship grant awards from the sale of collegiate license plates. It also contains an FY22 supplemental appropriation, which is also a 5% increase to $73.1 million. As a side note to that, I will tell you that we knew that the governor was planning to do a 5% plus up for FY23. What we didn't know was that it would actually contain a 5% plus up for FY22. I can tell you ISU, along with the other public universities, had to fight for this because there were rumors that the 5% supplemental increase would not be included at the last minute. but we were successful, and indeed it was included, and it would have to be used by the end of, by June 30th of 2023, or 2022. In terms of MAP, the governor actually appropriated $601.5 million for the FY23 MAP, which is a one-year, $122 million increase, as well as an expansion of the maximum award to 50% of tuition at public universities, which will now allow the maximum award for a student to be $8,508. Aim High was also included in the appropriations at $35 million to the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. I'd like to highlight, away from the budget, procurement reform. This was a huge issue for us this year. We have been pushing for procurement reform for the past few years, and we were really pushing for an omnibus bill, which we were able to get. There's still nuances of this bill that we're waiting to get. Hopefully we can hear about it in veto, maybe it will pass. But here's some of the highlights that we have thus far. So it would offer significant reduction in administrative burdens. So the legislation reduces paperwork for high-volume purchases below the small purchase threshold. So for example, universities must only collect vendor-owner disclosure documentation for contracts over $100,000. And universities will only have to request documentation for subcontractors who have a contract price over $100,000. What this basically means, as a support to ISU, that this change will free up significant staff time for review and provide small, diverse vendors more opportunities to do business with ISU. The legislation also includes specific changes to promote diverse vendor access and support general vendor access by allowing vendors more opportunities to demonstrate that they meet contract eligibility requirements. Specifically, changes were introduced to the Business Enterprise Program Act to allow for more flexibility and reciprocity recognition for these BEP entities, allowing universities to contract with a wider universe of diverse vendors. Also, the code requires that vendors must show good faith efforts towards their BEP vendor diversity utilization plan goals. The Act clarifies that public universities can make that determination rather than the Chief Procurement Officer's office, so as to not impair renewal execution. The impact to ISU is that as BEP issues have grown over the past few years, these changes will provide ISU with many more vendors and significantly improve ability to contract with them. The other big piece I'd like to highlight is the small purchase flexibility portion of the legislation. This will include new flexibility for exempt and professional and artistic service contracts below the $100,000 small purchase threshold by eliminating requirements to post these contracts to the Illinois Higher Education Procurement Bulletin. The impact to ISU is that the change will actually reduce procedural barriers and reduce administrative burden for small purchases. I'd like to close by offering a thank you to Avery Springer, who is actually graduating today. Avery actually served as an intern for governmental relations. I don't believe she's here this morning, but I'd be remiss if I did not offer her a thank you. She did an awesome job and really did help with the work for government relations. And so with that, I conclude my report.
Thank you, Jonathan. Board, there is a presentation for you this morning. With your approval, Chair Lauterbach, I will move to the presentation.
You may proceed.
We have a unique opportunity this morning to learn about the Image of Research competition and the 3-minute thesis competition. We have a number of guests who will introduce these topics today. Dr. Craig McLaughlin, Dr. Gina Hunter, and Dr. Noel Soko, as well as Britannia Howe, an MFA directing candidate. At this time, I would like to ask Dr. Craig McLaughlin to join us at the podium.
Thank you, President Kinsey, and to the board. Good morning.
Good morning.
As President Kinsey already shared, we have so much to be proud of in terms of research this year. And so I'm pleased this morning to be able to showcase some of that great research going on from our students in 2 competitions we hold on campus. So around us this morning and in the hall, we have the finalists of the 3rd annual Image of Research competition. And I would like to invite Office of Student Research Director, Dr. Gina Hunter, to share some information about the competition.
Thank you, Craig, and good morning, everybody. And before I talk about the Image of Research competition, I have to grant a congratulations to Devin Peony. Her mother became one of my best friends in the first grade. Dr. Melissa Peony is a graduate, one of the first graduates of our psychology program with a PhD, and her father, who just retired from the state of Illinois, is a graduate of our political science department. So she is at least the third alum of ISU in her family. I think she's probably the thing they're most proud of, however, and I'm sure she's going to continue to make us very proud as she continues. So congrats, Devin. All right, since its inauguration in 2019, the Office of Student Research has increased opportunities for students to engage in research by providing grants to student researchers, by advocating for high-quality research experiences within the curriculum, and by elevating the visibility of student research across our campus. The annual Image of Research competition is a popular OSR event that offers the public a glimpse of the remarkable student research taking place at Illinois State. The competition invites students to think creatively about their research and to communicate their scholarship in a concise and compelling manner. Students submit one static image with a brief abstract. Invited jurors rate the entries for visual impact, originality, and the connection between image and the student's research project. For the third annual Image of Research competition, the jurors' selections were announced last February 9th at the University Galleries during a public exhibit of the year's finalists, and this was the first time we were able to have that in person. Over 200 gallery visitors voted for their favorite image in the People's Choice Award. Shown here on the screen are the first and second place winners in the graduate category, which are on the left, and the first and second place in the undergraduate category on the right. As the variety of images around the room suggest, the competition draws participants from diverse disciplines. To see all the finalists and to view the research abstracts, I invite you to visit our website at studentresearch.illinoisstate.edu. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hunter. These images were also shared at the March 31st Research Awards and Recognition Ceremony and the April 1st University Research Symposium, which we had nearly 400 students presenting their research to the campus and the public. I would now like to invite the director of the graduate school, Dr. Noelle Selko, to tell us about the 3-minute thesis competition. Dr. Selko?
Thanks, Craig. The 3-minute thesis, or 3MT competition, is a research communication competition that challenges master's and doctoral students to describe their research topic and its significance in just 3 minutes to a general population. This past February, in a webinar format, 7 students presented their research after being selected as the top candidates from their respective colleges. School of Theater, Masters of Fine Arts, Directing, Spring 2022 graduate, Britannia Howe, was the university winner with her presentation, Take It Like a Man, exploring gender disparity in the workplace through the musical Legally Blonde. She also received the People's Choice Award, voted on by the audience watching over Zoom. Britannia also participated in the Midwest Association of Graduate Schools 3MT event on Friday, February 8th. Although she did not advance to the final round, we are extremely proud of her. Jake Solka, a psychology master's student, won second place for his presentation on intoxication with grandiosity, the role of drinking motives. We are pleased to be able to have Ms. Howe with us this morning to share her award-winning presentation. Ms. Howe?
I got it.
3 minutes. Okay. A story of rising to a challenge and defying expectations, all while looking fabulous. I'm an MFA directing candidate, and directing Legally Blonde the musical was my thesis project. 15 years ago, this Broadway musical questioned gender bias in the legal field with its feminist themes. Some people may think this story is cute, but like our own Elle Woods, who goes from California sorority girl to Ivy League law student, I believe it is more than it seems. It's valuable to explore feminist questions through theater because it exposes difficult topics. Topics like sexual assault in Ivy League schools, how harsh backlash can be when you don't conform to society, and seeking justice in the face of adversity are made digestible to encourage change. Humor is our greatest teacher. Not only is Elle admitted into Harvard, what, like it's hard? She advances to the top of her male-dominated class while keeping her feminine qualities. She shows us that a woman can be a lawyer or a director while wearing pink. It is my job to understand all of the ideas and themes and create a present-day point of view to drive this production. A lot has changed since 2005 as feminism has become more intersectional. Statistics show us that in the last 5 years, more women graduate law school than men. However, there is still a 2-to-1 ratio in the workforce today. The American Bar Association states, quote, all these issues apply with greater force to women attorneys of color who face the double bind of gender and race, end quote. In 2022, we have a different lens, which is why we need this play now. This show was written and cast with predominantly white actors. So we asked ourselves, who is being left out of the story and what can we do about it? This led us to cast racially diverse and gender nonconforming actors in roles that historically they wouldn't have been considered for to create a sisterhood of different voices. When working with the actors, I used the rehearsal room as a laboratory, using techniques and exercises that freed the actors to physicalize a presence of empowerment. I facilitated discussions of our current politics so they could make meaningful choices for this production. Theater for social change is a call to action. It demands that we examine ourselves in the mirror. I believe that if we study societal issues like this one in an attempt to find a solution through the arts of theater, music, and laughter, that it can encourage empathy and stimulate change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Howe. We welcome the members of the Board of Trustees and all members of the public to join us next year for any of these events, and I'm sure that we'll be sure to extend some specific invitations. But thank you for the time this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are there any comments or questions from the board? He comes back.
Well done.
2 minutes and 39.99 seconds.
Good one.
Very well done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. With the permission of our chairperson, I would like to make a few introductions before moving ahead with the resolutions.
You may proceed.
First, as all good things must come to an end, our student trustee will be graduating, and I want to introduce Anil Gillian, who was elected student trustee by his peers during elections this spring. He will take office at the July Board of Trustees meeting. Anil is a sophomore computer science student from White Rock, British Columbia, Canada. He is also a student athlete. He's a member of Illinois State's track and field team, with his track event being the decathlon. No small feat there, right? He is also a member of ISU's honor program and the president of ISU's cybersecurity club. Post-graduation, he plans to pursue a master's degree in the engineering field and aspires toward a career in information technology. Anil has joined us today. Would you please stand and be recognized? Next, I would like to introduce you to our new student body president, Patrick Walsh. Patrick is from Bourbonnais, Illinois, and entering his senior year as a managerial economics major. He is also pursuing a double minor in political science and business administration. Patrick has also served as the Hewitt-Manchester Senator and student body vice president and plans to pursue law school after graduation. Patrick, would you please rise so we can recognize you as well? We appreciate you stepping up on behalf of your fellow students to serve them and our university, and we look forward to working with you. And lastly, I'd like to congratulate Dr. Martha Horst, who was re-elected as chair of the Academic Senate on Wednesday. Dr. Horst has served on the Academic Senate for 11 years, including as Secretary of the Senate. As I mentioned, she is a professor of composition and theory and a very talented composer of classical music. Dr. Horst, would you please stand so we can recognize you as well? Thank you all. Again, it's service that helps us to move our university forward. I'll take a second here to also thank our board as we end the academic year. As we all know, they serve without any compensation for our university, and not just the time that you see when we're here at these meetings. So can we all extend our congratulations and thanks to the board for their service. Chairperson Lauterbach, with your permission, I'll move on to the resolutions.
Please do.
Okay. It's a little bit of a marathon today, folks. Resolution 2022.05/11, approval of MS in Marketing Analytics. The proposed MS in Marketing Analytics program is an interdisciplinary degree program designed to provide students with both broad and deep technical skills in marketing analytics as marketing positions continue to evolve into a technical role within an organization. The degree thoroughly trains students in the use of business analytics to power data-driven, consumer-centric decisions. The program has been developed by the faculty in the Department of Marketing in the College of Business to meet the existing state and national demands for a diverse set of marketing analytical related positions. The proposed program is expected to enroll cohorts of 25 to 30 full-time students annually. The Academic Senate approved the proposal on March 25th, 2022. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So moved, Bone.
Moved by trustee Bone, second. Trustee Donahue. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor with the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Aye.
You were for it, right?
Yes. I
Okay,
said
thank
aye.
you, trustee. I assumed that, but it came after the resolution is approved.
Thank you very much. Resolution 2022.05/12, approval of Master in Public Health, MPH. The proposed Master of Public Health program is an online interdisciplinary degree program designed for students who aspire to work on vital health issues facing citizens of our country and the world. Students with diverse academic, i.e. undergraduate degrees in applied health sciences, life sciences, and social sciences, and cultural backgrounds will find the program well-suited to advance their careers. The program proposal has been developed by faculty in the Department of Health Sciences in the College of Applied Science and Technology to meet the existing state and national demand. The Bureau of Labor Statistics projects 11% growth in public health careers by 2026. And this is particularly true for public health educators, epidemiologists, and statisticians. The Academic Senate approved the proposal on March 25th, 2022. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So moved, Peony.
Moved by trustee Peony, seconded by trustee Dobsky. All those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
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 Oh, was there any discussion? I apologize. Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2022.05/13, approval of STEM Master of Business Administration, MBA. The proposed STEM Master of Business Administration, or MBA program, is a graduate interdisciplinary business degree program with significant STEM, or science, technology, engineering, and mathematics content. The program proposal has been developed by faculty in the College of Business to meet the existing state, national, and international demand for a diverse set of occupations. There are currently no STEM MBA programs offered by public universities in Illinois, offering Illinois State the opportunity to fill a niche among other public universities in Illinois. This program will serve the needs of Illinois constituents by providing an opportunity for local, regional, and international students who wish to study STEM content specific for business. It will also meet employer demands as fast-paced technological advances are leading more businesses to seek employees with advanced training in data-driven analysis and decision-making. The program will be administered by our College of Business. The program is not expected to have significant effects on existing campus programs, and no new courses are required. Existing faculty will teach in the college's undergraduate and graduate programs. Enrollment is projected at 25 full-time and part-time students once the program is fully implemented. The Academic Senate approved the proposal on April 21st, 2022. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and second to approve the resolution?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Dobsky, second trustee Donahue. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Resolution 2022.05/14, authorization to proceed, establishment of College of Engineering. At its meeting on May 7th, 2021, the Illinois State Board of Trustees approved Resolution 2021.05/09, which approved the establishment of a College of Engineering at Illinois State. However, this resolution did not commit Illinois State University to expend any funds. Assuming approval by the Illinois Board of Higher Education, further development of a College of Engineering would involve expending funds requires approval of the Board of Trustees. Illinois State University submitted the proposal to the IBHE seeking approval for the new units of instructions, namely the college and 2 academic departments of electrical engineering and mechanical engineering. At its March 15th, 2022 meeting, the Illinois Board of Higher Education granted authority to Illinois State University to establish all 3. Illinois State University desires to move forward with establishing the College of Engineering, including taking actions to begin recruitment and hiring of the administrative leadership of the college, particularly a new dean, the chairs of the 2 academic departments, and necessary support personnel. The proposed College of Engineering is to serve as the administrative and academic structure for the future degrees in electrical, mechanical, and general engineering. The request for authorization to offer degrees in engineering will come at a later date, following the development of curriculum for the degrees in accordance with all university policies and procedures. The development of the College of Engineering and offering degrees in mechanical, electrical, and general engineering would contribute to workforce development, help meet demand for engineering programs by Illinois State students who currently are forced to go elsewhere for engineering education, contribute to Illinois State University's internationalization initiative, and attract high-quality students that Illinois State University currently cannot recruit. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Dobsky.
Second,
Seconded by
Bone.
trustee Bone. Is there any discussion? I have 2 basic questions. It says in the, a College of Engineering with 2 new academic departments. Do we already have a general engineering?
No.
Or is that just
Provost
a-
Tarhuli, we do not have it. He can explain why we offer that in addition to the difference between the departments and the programs.
Thank you.
No, we don't. So there'll be 2 departments, but those departments will offer 3 degrees. So we don't need a separate department to
Okay.
offer the general engineering degree.
And the second thing is, in the resolution there, it doesn't talk about any financial amount. And so I take it's not going to be over $500,000.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Can we clap for that one? That's in recognition to the team that's done an incredible amount of work to get us to this point. A lot of people in this room, some that hopefully are watching, and the board. Resolution 2022.05/15, College of Engineering Project Pre-Construction Services. Illinois State University will expand its curriculum to address workforce needs in Illinois, the Midwest, and beyond by offering bachelor's degree programming in electrical, mechanical, and general engineering. To facilitate the engineering program development, Illinois State University conducted a public quality-based selection process in accordance with state of Illinois procurement requirements and hired Canon Design in the fall of 2019 to conduct investigations in partnership with ISU stakeholders to develop a program curriculum and a master plan for the new College of Engineering. Current instructional and lab space limitations at the university require new construction to provide the lecture, lab, research, and collaborative learning spaces unique to engineering programs. Canon Design and the university investigated the feasibility of building a new program to house these 3 degree programs. Canon Design investigated 5 separate locations on campus based on criteria established by ISU. The plan for this first phase is to accommodate up to 520 new engineering students. The recommended location for Phase 1 implementation is the ISU John Green Building and Carter Harris Administration Building located on the north side of Gregory Street. Currently, the John Green Building and Carter Harris Administration Building contain university facility services, university housing service, and event management, dining, and hospitality services, equipment, and storage. The projected total project budget of $61 million includes acquiring the John Green Building from the auxiliary facilities system, projected renovation costs, and projected cost to acquire and renovate replacement facilities for warehousing and administrative services currently located in John Green and Carter Harris. This resolution requests the Board of Trustees to authorize expenditures not to exceed $3 million, which is included in the $61 million total project budget for all necessary College of Engineering Phase 1 pre-construction services for a project program, plan, design, and to produce the required documents to publicly bid the renovation of the John Green Building and Carter Harris Administrative Building, and direct the university administration to establish a budget and appoint architects and engineers and other necessary project consultants. The source of funding is general revenue resources until reimbursement at a later date through tax-exempt COPS debt. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve? So moved, Trustee Dobsky. Second, Trustee Donahue. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Resolution 2022.05/16, FY23 spending authorization. The Board of Trustees is obligated to approve the university's annual operating budget. Because this is the last scheduled board meeting before the start of the new fiscal year, July 1, the university requests your approval to spend budgeted funds to meet financial obligations beginning July 1st, 2022. The university will return with a resolution authorizing the fiscal 2023 operating budget at the October quarterly meeting after state funding and enrollment for the fiscal year is finalized. This resolution was developed before the unusual fact that the governor signed a budget prior to this meeting. The tables accompanying, but we still do not have final numbers on enrollment, which is a critically important factor in our budget. The tables accompanying this resolution present FY23 spending authorization by object and function of expenditure, anticipate projections of stable or potentially of stable enrollment. Primary cost increases are anticipated in personnel services and awards and grants. Personnel service increases include anticipated cost increases for minimum wage, salary agreements put in place in FY22, and merit compensation increases. Awards and grants reflect an increase to student financial aid, reflecting the university's commitment to college affordability. Cost increases in all categories for current inflationary factors were considered as well. Capital investments remain steady due to the continued need to improve facilities supporting academic instruction and student-related spaces. Total projected expenditures reflect approximately a 3.5 increase over FY 2022. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and second to approve the resolution?
So moved, Bone.
I so move.
Is there a motion to approve as amended to reflect the change of the government allowing for that spending earlier rather than later?
So moved.
Second, Trustee Donahue?
Yes, I second, but I have a question based on what, I didn't understand what the legal counselor just presented there. Can you clarify that, please?
Sure, I believe President reported in her comments that the resolution was drafted before the governor passed the budget on April 19th. So I believe there is a change or a small amendment to the resolution to reflect that.
The resolution states that we anticipated it would be May 29th when we would have a state budget, but we actually have one now. So our,
But the numbers haven't changed, or they have?
no, the numbers have not changed.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Should the numbers change, since we're getting an additional allotment from the state, that 5% increase?
Vice President Stevens?
That is correct. Actually, our revenue sources will change, but this is an expenditure resolution.
Oh,
It
okay.
refers to expenditures only.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Do we have it correct then? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution passes.
Resolution 2022.05/17, student tuition, fees, and room and board rates for academic year 2022-23. Setting tuition and fees is always a complex exercise, but the impact of employee wage increases and minimum wage law, increases in financial aid, inflationary increases in operating expenditures, and deferred maintenance and capital projects highlight the importance of the university's goal of balancing fiscal accessibility for current and future students with maintaining sufficient operating resources. Illinois State recognizes the increasingly important role that revenue from tuition and fees plays in assuring appropriate funding for educational excellence and is committed to providing academic innovation and program enhancements while maintaining access to and affordability of its high-quality programs. With this in mind, the university is recommending for FY23 a 3.42% total cost increase over FY22, making the total cost of attendance for a full-time undergraduate student, including student insurance, $26,335 before financial aid is applied. This increase includes a 2.75 increase in tuition, which has only increased once in the prior 5 years, and a 3% increase in student fee rates, which did not increase last year. Each year, fee increases are reviewed, and increases, if supported, are recommended by the Student Fee Review Committee, which includes students. The Association of Residence Halls reviews recommendations for room and board for the next year and makes a recommendation to the Vice President for Student Affairs. The Association of Residence Halls endorsed a 3% increase in room for Cardinal Court apartments and a 4.5 increase for residence halls, as well as a 4.5% increase in board rates. It should be noted that despite increasing costs, room and board rates have only increased 0.6% over the past 5 years and only twice in the last 7 years. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Donahue, second
Second.
trustee Dobsky. Is there any discussion? Trustee Donahue?
Thank you. I do have a couple questions. The fee increase we're discussing here of 3%, is that for across-the-board fees, or is that just for targeted fees? And I don't know if targeted is the correct term.
So the short answer is, it is not across the board. Vice President Johnson can explain the strategy.
Yes, yes, it's not across the board. Thanks for that question. It's not across the board. There are a number of different categories by which fees can be addressed within the overall student fee. They're targeting 4 specific areas. The first is the general student fee category, which addresses issues of the daycare center, transportation, and other programming for student programs on campus. The second bucket would be the recreation facility and their operations and costs for operating that facility. And then the third and the fourth involve athletics. The Student Review Committee recognizes that student athletes are indeed students, and therefore there's a bucket for supporting the fields by which they participate on or compete on. And then the last category would be for engaging those who attend athletic events, students, faculty, and staff, and alumni.
And you had mentioned you ran this past what I'll classify as the student leaders, that committee, and I'm assuming, which maybe I shouldn't, they've supported this.
Yes, actually,
This proposal?
the Student Fee Review Committee is actually chaired by the student government president, and then that committee takes then those recommendations to the full student government board, of which they supported it.
Okay, thank you. President Kinsey, in your remarks, you had mentioned we haven't increased tuition in 5 years.
We've increased it once in the last 5 years.
And when's the last time we've increased both room and board and tuition together? I know we've done that. Is that approximately
That's-
5 years as well?
Well, probably so. I know we did an increase for room and board last year. We
Right.
did not do a tuition one, and I don't know I can't remember the last time we did room and board then as well, but tuition.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
It's-
Fall of 2016 was the last time they were both increased at the same time. They've always, they're separate years the other times.
It's 6 years.
Yeah,
And that-
6 years ago.
And then, I think, this isn't a question, but it's a statement. I want to make sure I understand this correctly, is this only impacts new students incoming. So the vast majority of our current students will not see a tuition increase, correct? They'll see the fee increase, but not a tuition increase. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's correct.
So I know this is never easy, never easy to do, and I can tell you, I don't want to speak for the entire board, but I believe everybody on this board is very cognizant of the cost of higher education, and especially here at Illinois State. And I tend to believe I'm generally one of the more fiscally conservative members of this board, and I know at times that hasn't sat very well in the past with the administration. But I'm going to support this resolution for the points that you've brought out. In the last 5 years, we haven't increased room and board. The fee increases are not across the board. They've been targeted very specifically. They have the support of our student leaders and our students. And I'm not saying this just because everything else has gone up in price. We're using that as an excuse, but that has impacted how we can do business, what is happening in the world. So I want to thank all the administration, because I know you guys sharpened your pencil with some of the earlier draft proposals. I can honestly tell you I wasn't quite there, but I'm very appreciative of coming back, and I'm planning to vote yes. Thank you.
Other comments?
You know, I'd
Trustee
just like to
Dobbs?
say,
Go ahead, Bowen.
I'd like to say, Trustee Donahue, I agree with you. I appreciate that the vice presidents were willing to answer a lot of questions that I personally had over the last week, 2 weeks, about this. And I think Trustee Donahue has expressed our view that this is a very difficult decision on the part of all of us. We do not take this lightly. We asked a lot of questions. We asked them to reform some things that they did. And I appreciate the work that they've done in answering our questions also. So, thank you.
Trustee Dobsky?
Yeah, and just to go along with Trustee Donahue about the cost, nobody wants to see costs going up, but with the media constantly talking about inflation and numbers and cost and materials, and I'm sure Dan Stevens has got the numbers, but that this is enough to cover us in the next upcoming years, because it's here to stay for a while, I think, and until we get back down in that and level out again in that. So, but just hopefully everything is going to be covered with the numbers in that. So, but.
Trustee Peony?
I just want to say that I was on the student fee committee too, and we endorsed that as a student group. And that was a year-long process of monthly meetings to come up with this number. And this was one of the lower estimates because we wanted to keep affordability in mind. And I want to ask, can you remind us how much state funding we have? Because I think that's a big factor in this.
How much state funding?
State funding accounts for 14% of the university budget. We are still not back to the level of funding we had from the state in 2012. As I think you all know, I'm a part of a committee that's looking to reformulate how higher education appropriations are done in the state. That process is ongoing, and I think it's productive, but it is not yet done. And so we are still, by my estimate, at least a couple years from actual action that will change the funding model. So because the 5% increase you saw, while the Illinois Board of Higher Education asked that it be distributed differentially, which would have given Illinois State a little bit more of a bump, the decision in state government was to do it across the board. So we'll be still looking at that horrific discrepancy that we have in state funding for a little while yet.
Trustee Navarro,
Yes?
would you like to, do you have anything you want to say?
No, I'm listening to the discussion. I do appreciate all the work that the staff have put into answering our questions. However, this is not an increase that I'm going to support.
Everything has basically been said. When we do the percentages, does it, like with the 3%, did they present the 3% to the students, or did you decide what you thought maybe would be the right percent, or how did they do that?
Do you want to? Yeah.
No, basically, the staff that are involved on that committee present the data as it relates to cost, operations, services, and things of that nature. And then the students really come back with looking at historical data and information as to what they recommend then.
But, I mean, obviously you have to come with a number for them to look at, to recommend. So basically, administration said 3% would be good.
No, we present the data and information, what's been done in the past and things of that nature. Now they ask for information as to what would 2% do, what would 3% do, what would 5% do? And then they come to a conclusion as to what they feel is recommended then in that sense. And Trustee Peony, like I said, served on that, so she can correct me if I'm totally wrong or what she experienced then.
No, that's a very accurate depiction. But also at the end, I think we came up with about 3 different percentages ranging from 3, 4, 5%. And students came together to vote on the 3% number.
Okay, thank
So
you.
I guess this is about Trustee Navarro. I guess I'm still struggling what that 3% will do. I did not see that in that detail in the resolution. So I'm still struggling with what this increase will do.
Again, basically, those increases will help support whether it's staffing, whether it's facilities operations. Some of you are aware that the cost for electricity in general is going up 17, 18%. So operations, some of that would support typically the programming that students do and put on, and the cost for performers, for concerts and things of that nature. Those costs have gone up. So it's gone up. It's to address rising costs in various areas.
Anything else?
Can I?
Sure.
I also want to say that this definitely impacts wages as well. I think that was something that we took in consideration heavily for students, faculty, and staff.
Are there any other comments? I mean, I have to agree that there's been a lot of work done. We've gone back and forth and not been real happy with everything, but the tuition, the nice thing is that we do have the truth in tuition, so that it will only affect those coming in, and then it will stay, the others will be there. 3%, we can go back and forth on that. Hopefully it's going to the programs, and the housing will have to, with everything that's going up. But I appreciate all the work that you have done to help us get to this point. At this point, all those in favor of the resolution? Aye?
Aye.
Opposed?
I oppose.
Okay. The resolution is approved.
Thank you for your very serious consideration of the challenges of these decisions and your support. Resolution 2022.05/18, renewal of student health insurance. Our current student health insurance contract expires August 21st, 2022. A request for proposals was issued on January 18th, 2022 to secure a new contract for policy year 22-23. This one-year contract includes a provision for up to 9 annual renewals upon mutual agreement between ISU and the successful vendor. Proposals were evaluated using 5 criteria: policy coverage, vendor specifications and administrations, claim processing and service capabilities, reporting capabilities, references, and price. Based on scoring from an evaluation matrix, Aetna's student health proposal meets the university's need given the plan cost, allowing the student insurance office to process claims, the premium stabilization reserve agreement, and adherence to all plan specifications. The RFP also requested pricing for a separate dental and vision insurance plan. These are to be administered by the insurance carrier, and students who want the coverage can opt in. Dental and vision insurance will be independent of the student insurance plan and will not impact the student insurance plan cost. These plans will be beneficial, though, to all students. Illinois State University seeks approval to award Aetna Student Health the renewal agreement for the 22-23 policy year with a student health insurance rate of $281 for the fall of 2022 and spring of 23 sessions, and a $211 rate for the summer 2023 session. I ask for your approval for this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So move, Bone.
So moved, Bone, seconded Trustee Dobsky. Is there any discussion? Trustee
So-
Peony?
Just to be clear, there's no increase in the fee assessed to the student then? Yes,
That's correct.
okay. Thank you.
Unless I missed it in here, is it the same company that we're going to renew then? Or there were 5 proposals, I take it, and
There are actually 2 proposals. Yes, we are going with the same company that we went with before, Aetna.
okay.
And have we been happy with Aetna?
We've been extremely happy with Aetna. We have the lowest insurance rate within the state for students. As a matter of fact, one of the lowest in the entire country. And
How
it's a,
about with, when they have claims?
the claims are done in a timely fashion. They are one of the few companies that will allow us to manage all of the claims internally and so forth, which was one of the deciding factors with us continuing with Aetna. They've been great partners on an annual basis as it relates to the rates, any potential increases.
And is there any reason we only had 2 apply, or just?
I believe most folks won't put their hat in the ring because of the extremely low rates that we actually go for, and then that other piece of us managing those actual claims.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Resolution 2022.05/19, South Campus Housing Dining Project Pre-Construction Services. Our on-campus housing and dining play a central role in shaping the campus experience for current and prospective students, as well as their families, and competition for new students and transfer students has become increasingly challenging over the past 10 years and is predicted to become even more competitive beginning in 2025. In addition, over the last 2 decades, due to the age, limited functionality, and significant deferred maintenance cost to ensure a quality and safe housing experience for our students, the university was faced with making significant changes to its residential housing program that resulted in the loss of over 1,100 beds, or 16% of our capacity, leaving the current University Housing Service capacity as built at just over 5,800 beds. In 2017, University Housing Services hired Brailsford and Dunleavy to conduct an ISU housing feasibility study that recommended the university construct new residence halls to house approximately 1,200 students, along with a 700-seat dining hall to serve the higher populations of students required to live and dine on campus. In December 2018, an RFP was issued seeking a developer under a public-private partnership, or P3 agreement, for construction of a new residence hall and dining center. In the spring of 2019, Gilbane Corporation was awarded the project as the developer for the potential project. Project planning efforts began in the summer of 2019 and were placed on indefinite hold in March of 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Reanalysis of the original plan to proceed with constructing the housing and dining project under a P3 ownership determined that structure is no longer feasible. After considerable analysis, in consultation with external financial and legal advisors, the university decided to proceed with the project as a traditional university-owned auxiliary facility system, or AFS-funded capital project initiated and managed by Illinois State University due to multiple financial, operational, and total property control attributes, which ultimately results in a lower overall total project cost and therefore a lower cost to students and their families. Student affordability analysis provided by our external financial consultants, Blue Rose Capital Advisors, indicate that the project is financially viable. The preliminary budget estimate to plan, design, and construct the 1,200-bed residence hall is $150 million, and the 700-seat dining center is $35 million, for a total of $185 million. The project site selected for the new residence dining hall project is the former South Campus site. This resolution seeks approval to begin the first phase of the ASF project, identified as pre-construction services, composed primarily of architectural and engineering planning and design, preliminary construct project management, commissioning and cost estimation, and the final preparation of the required documents needed to seek public construction bids. This phase of the project is estimated to not exceed $8 million, which is included in the overall estimated project cost of $185 million. The source of funding is auxiliary facility system reserves reimbursed at a later date through a tax-exempt ASF debt. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second? So moved. Trustee Navarro, second. Trustee Donahue. Is there any discussion, please? Trustee Bone.
First of all, we would like freshmen to live on campus. Can you tell me how many freshmen are not living in our residence halls now, like a percentage? And also sophomores.
Yes, so as he goes up, I will say that I just want to express that we actually officially require freshmen and sophomores to live on campus. There's a great deal of data that shows that that increases student success. And so Vice President Johnson can talk about how our current housing allows us to meet that aspiration.
Yeah, I'm going to look over at my director just to make sure I get this number right. But on an annual basis, we pretty much house about 94,
98.
90. Okay. Yeah, so that's how many are fresh. And the majority then that are not are pretty much local or within a radius where they can live off campus with their families.
And the sophomore, what percentage of our sophomores approximately?
78%.
Live
in housing with us.
And do you have juniors and seniors then that live
Yes,
on?
yes, we do. We've had some, but at a smaller percentage, of course. And as housing becomes, the fewer housing spaces that we have, the fewer spaces we're allowed to provide for upper-class students in that sense. But over the last number of years, we've had more and more juniors and seniors actually indicate that they would love to live on campus, but we just don't have the space for them.
So the new housing would deal with the 23% freshmen and sophomores that are currently not living on campus?
Correct. We would be able to live into our sophomore year requirement more so, all right, and have those sophomores remain on campus then.
And then also allow more juniors and seniors if they so requested?
If there are more exemptions where people have real reasons why they need to live off campus, that could provide more space for them. But more importantly, we're trying to get the transfer students who come and we've not had space for transfer students.
Okay. Thank you.
Trustee Donahue.
Thank you. I'm supportive of this, but I just want a clarification on a couple items. My term, not all money is green, and I just want to clarify that. The tuition increase we've just approved is not going to be funding. We're not raising tuition to fund a new dorm. Is that an accurate statement?
Thank you, Trustee Donahue, for that question. And yes, you're exactly correct from our LAC guidelines within the state of Illinois. And this is actually very consistent across the nation, is that tuition and fees, certain of those fees, certain tuition fee, in our case is the academic enhancement fee, supports academic construction and academic facilities. In this particular case, housing and dining fees are in the AFS system, and they are specific to exactly those types of operations and facilities. Parking, for example, is in the AFS system, but parking fees cannot be used to help support this as well. So it's very, very specific, and the revenue streams and the operational expenses associated with the facility, paying for the debt, and any of those things are going to be housed within that individual budget.
Okay, thank you. And then one person had asked me, and I wanted to make sure what I told them was accurate, that, hey, so you just a couple of years ago tore down all those dorms where you're proposing to build new dorms. If you knew you were going to need more dormitories, why didn't you leave those up? And the reality is those were not functional dorms, if my memory serves me correctly, that more so, I think it was fire safety or fire code, the cost to upgrade to the new, I don't know, sprinkler system or whatever made it cost prohibitive, and it was actually a better investment to tear down. Is that accurate? So, because I was asked, well, it seems like you wasted all that, those facilities. I wanted to make sure
That is
people
correct.
understood that those buildings were not functional.
And that's Greg. Thank you for bringing that up as well. I was not here, but in looking at the research at the time, going back, it was about approximately 1,200 beds on that complex. And because of the significant costs associated with bringing the fire safety system to a code perspective in that particular building was going to exceed the value associated of investing in that because it was dated as well. We tore that down in, I think it was 2012, 13, or 14 timeframe. That is what introduced Cardinal Court. What immediately was done with about a couple of years later was the refurbishment of Cardinal Court, the building of that. But if you do the math, the institution actually took down 1,600 beds, and we're bringing back, we added 900 at Cardinal Court. We're bringing back the 1,200, and as Vice President Johnson has spoken, we're essentially adding to our capacity just to meet our requirement, live-on requirement. We are not exceeding that live-on requirement.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Trustee Navarro?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So what is our plan for the future? Do we have a, like we tore down AC at Colby, which I close to my heart. And then Dunbarton and then Walker. But I'm not sure what the next, they were talking about, I'm sure we need to replace them. But now we hear about Tri-Towers and all that maybe that's next. Do we have a time level, a time frame, a true plan as to what we really need to do for the structure of the university?
Yes, we do, and I'll let Vice President Johnson answer that question.
Yes, we've attempted to look at this comprehensively, and Watterson's not going anywhere for quite some time. That's an extremely solid facility, but it will have added costs and things of that nature. East Campus as well, Hewitt-Manchester, it'll be around for a while. We do have some challenges with Tri-Towers that we need to address, and that would be the next phase that we look into, and we need to go into an assessment as to continuing with those facilities or deciding on whether or not we need to replace those as well. So
we
that
have
would be the
sat
next
down and
phase.
got something in writing that we can look at and say, okay, here's where we're looking at next,
Yeah.
instead of just pulling it out of the sky.
Yeah, that would be for future trustee retreats and information that we're sharing with you. We would like to present that plan and those thoughts to you after doing that full assessment.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Resolution 2022.05/20, approval of Watterson Towers Mechanical Penthouse upgrades. The Watterson Towers Mechanical Penthouse upgrade project with a budget of $4.2 million was approved by the Illinois State University Board of Trustees on February 21st, 2020, item 2020.02/08. This project has experienced unanticipated and unplanned costs due to COVID-19 pandemic that delayed construction by 1 full year and added contractor costs through additional state of Illinois mandated contractor COVID-19 construction requirements, resulting in contractor claims for additional costs that will exceed the current project budget authority by $150,000. This item requests Board of Trustees approval to increase the budget authorization for the Watterson Tower Mechanical Penthouse upgrade projects from $4.2 million to $4.35 million. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So move.
Moved by trustee Bowen, seconded trustee Dopsky. Is there any discussion?
I have a question. So what is the chance this is going to get done this summer? And is this a guaranteed amount?
Everybody's looking around.
Nobody wants to answer that.
Okay.
Their whole facilities team.
Sorry.
Yes.
They're all there together.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you for the question. Actually, it was one of my notes I put myself this morning. But these are based off of bids, which is, again, a number of our resolutions or estimates are not to exceed. And in this particular case, we did an estimate in the prior year, and because of COVID, this had to be slightly delayed. And so we've now got all the final bids. Thankfully, it was only a 3.5% increase, which was pretty good given the supply constraints. So I'm looking over at David Gill. Do we believe it'll be finished this summer?
It's under contract, it's planning to be finished, but we're just short of money to make the completion of the project.
So that's a yes, it'll be done this summer. Okay.
And if I may also add, if you recall a few years ago when we did the major HVAC renovation, about 30-something million at Watterson, this is essentially the extension of that particular phase. That was to improve the airflow system within the building. This is the equipment that's going to be on top of the facility that's actually going to not only help with the quality of air, but it's also going to help with cost efficiency because this equipment is going to be much more energy efficient, which we definitely need right now with the cost of energy going up.
Thank you. And I support doing this. It's just I don't like that it went up. And I just want to make sure it gets done and we don't have to come back. We don't have to visit this again.
Okay. Is there a penalty if it's not done by summer? Okay.
Thank you.
No other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2022.05/21, authorization to issue auxiliary system revenue bonds, Series 2022A. The Board of Trustees has the authority to issue auxiliary facility system revenue bonds, and the university desires to construct an indoor practice facility under the auxiliary facility system. On December 11th, 2021, the board approved Resolution 2021.12/56, authorizing the athletics indoor practice facility to be constructed once a minimum of $8.05 million in private donor funds were received in the form of cash and commitments. As of March 31st, 2022, over $12 million of donor funds has been committed to the project, comprised of approximately $5 million raised in cash and approximately $7 million in donor-signed commitment agreements. Therefore, the university is seeking the Board of Trustees of Illinois State University to authorize issuance of auxiliary facility system revenue bonds, Series 2022A, to construct the indoor practice facility. The board approves a bank placement sale of the series bonds using a single or consortium of bank lenders. The bonds shall not exceed an aggregate principal amount of $11,500,000, will have a final maturity of no later than April 1st of 2032, and will be sold, will not be less than 97% of the par amount thereof, have a true interest cost of not to exceed 5%, and shall be issued on a taxable or tax-exempt basis or a combination thereof. The treasurer of the board or his designee is hereby authorized to enter into a bond purchase agreement or agreements with one or more purchasers for the sale of the Series 2022A bonds. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Peony, seconded by trustee Bowen. Is there discussion? You may as well get up there. Trustee Donahue.
Thank you. Did I hear President Kinsey correct that we're saying the interest rate will not exceed 5%?
That is correct. In this resolution, because we do not have the authority to execute a commitment agreement with any of the banks to tighten the debt.
With the recent Fed increase, do we believe we're going to be able to get a interest rate?
Yes.
Under 5?
Actually, we're actually having conversations with 6 banks. We've been having conversations with them basically daily over the past several weeks coming up this particular meeting. obviously, until we seek approval from you as of today, but we'll be executing a commitment agreement within the next week. And right now, tentative rates that we're looking at, either at a taxable rate, if we go 100% taxable, we're looking probably in the range of the upper 3s to low 4s. We might be able to potentially get in the middle 3s. It really depends on how the banks choose to utilize their reserves. So if we had gone to the public market, it would have probably gotten a higher interest rate, but because we're negotiating with banks, and like I said, fairly large banks, we feel very comfortable that we should be in that 3 to 4% range.
Thank you.
Yes.
So the donor funds, we have 5 million in cash and 7 million in agreements. When do we anticipate that 7 million? Is there a timing as to when the 7 million will be received?
Yes, there is. I have this actually, and it's hot off the press. I sent an email yesterday, working with Pat Vickerman and his team. And as we're sitting today, we're sitting at approximately $5 million. And the pledge instruments are still over 7. We're actually sitting at around 12.3. Right now, the pledges for fiscal year 23 are $2,075,700. A similar amount in fiscal year 24, a little over $2 million. And in fiscal year 25, $1.9 million. So the majority of the commitments, there's a few million more over the following years, but we're literally looking at the next 3 years, 3 to 4 years. And I apologize for not making this statement earlier, but what we are asking the lending institutions to include in the debt structure is what's called a call feature, and a 5-year call feature to be priced in the interest rate. And what that allows us to do is if all these funds come in as planned, which we believe they will, in 5 years from now, we'll actually have all the resources there. We'll be able to pay off all of the debt and not have to incur any more interest past that particular date. And so that's giving us the flexibility. And so we're very appreciative of what Pat and his team has been doing, and we're very, very optimistic about this project and our financing structure.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? How many bonds can we put in the AFS system? Can we just bond all we want?
It is actually it's obviously based on credit quality. And if you may have heard recently, just actually, I think it was this past week, we received a credit upgrade by Moody's. And we actually expect within the next couple of weeks that Standard & Poor's, as they continue to review the state of Illinois, as the state's credit improves, ours will improve. So we are limited. Bonds are issued with the credit quality of the institution and inside the AFS system. So it is really a limited amount of funds, but we sit very low on a debt to equity ratio. And so we're fortunate that we're very fiscally viable in the AFS system.
So we have plenty more debt equity we can go into.
Plenty, yes.
Let's not. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Resolution 2022.05/22, approval of campus-wide network upgrade. This resolution seeks approval to replace the current campus networking equipment to support Illinois State University's classroom and administrative buildings and internet bandwidth needs. The requested software and hardware equipment upgrade will provide the ISU community not only with increased reliability, efficiency, and security, but also faster network speeds with the ability to scale up in later years in order to meet new demands. The new strategic design of such systems includes core infrastructure pieces that have a planned useful life of approximately 10 years to avoid costly shorter refresh cycles. This resolution supports the first phase of a strategic multi-year 3-phase upgrade project that was designed by Technology Solutions staff and includes 12 buildings. It is expected that the second phase will be brought forth for potential Board of Trustees approval in the summer or fall of 2023, and the third and final phase will be brought forth for BOT approval in the summer, fall of 2024. The current estimated cost of completing all three phases is $3.75 million over the next 4 years and will eventually reach 60 buildings. This first phase of the upgrade project is estimated to not exceed $1.25 million and should be completed by December 2023. The source of funding is institutional funds. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and second to approve the resolution?
So move, Bone.
Second Peony.
Second Peony. Is there any discussion? Trustee Bone? Trustee Dobsky?
The way technology is going, is this going to become an annual thing that we're going to be revisiting in that? Or is this going to be, when was the last time we did this with our technology?
I'm going to use my perfect opportunity to not answer that question and ask a better expert to come to the table. No, thank you for that question, and we appreciate you bringing up. Associate Vice President Charles Adamala can certainly, he's our Chief Information Officer, can answer not only today's investment, but what we're looking at in the future.
Thank you for that question. There's going to be changes to different parts of the technology. So the board had actually approved a data center upgrade in February. This is for networks. And then next year, there's going to be another portion of the network that will be upgraded. So yes, there will be pieces coming. This is part of a larger strategy, though, a 3-year strategy for networking.
So let me follow up to Bob's question. What I think he's wondering is after 3 years, will there be another 7 years? Because we talk about a 10-year lifetime here.
It's in 10 years, there will be another plan, yeah. Most likely.
But it won't last 10 years. I mean, tomorrow it'll be outdated.
The technology for networking lasts 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So the last time we did this was 10 years ago.
And during the changeover, will there be any disruption or anything?
No,
for students?
the plan is not to have any disruption.
Any other questions? Trustee Peony?
Can you speak to the need for this upgrade, any deficits that we're seeing right now?
So right now, we are pushing the limits on the age of the equipment. And so if we wait too long, then we will have outages. So there's an industry mean time to failure rate that we look at. So if we waited a couple of years, yes, the network would probably continue, but there's a likelihood of larger and larger outages. Then on top of that, we're starting to push the limit on the bandwidth. So we want to move from, or between buildings right now, it's about 1 gigabit per second. We want to move up to 25 gigabits. So that allows for things like research and to improve. Also allows for other usages like e-gaming and so forth that's pushing the limits. But today, we're setting pretty good. We just see that in the next couple of years, it's going to, we could have issues.
Okay, so it's more proactive.
It's proactive.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? And I know that we haven't talked about the next one after this. Are they connected in some way?
Yes.
And
Yeah. So they're connected in that it's part of this larger strategy. It's probably the same equipment. However, given the supply chain issues that are happening right now, buying all that equipment right now is not feasible. And then we have no idea whether there's going to be a crazy increase in the cost. So, in talking with Vice President Dan Stevens, the best strategy we had was instead of getting all 3.75 million approved right now and running the risk of coming back here and saying, hey, it's gone up a little bit, we decided to break it up in phases, which actually follows what we would have done anyway. We would have bought sections of equipment over the 3 years.
so, I mean, because and I don't know if it's appropriate, counsel.
Can only have discussion regarding this
Okay.
specific resolution.
Okay. All those in favor? Trustee
Well,
Fontaine?
I just have a question based off of what Madam Chair had said is, so is the next resolution contingent then? If I don't believe this is going to fail, but if this resolution were to fail, does that hurt the next resolution? Since
No, and the reason for where the separation there, again, as Charlie was talking about, is we would not be, from a phasing point of view, if we had purchased all the equipment and started to do, we would not be able to do that. It'd still take us three to 4 plus years to to implement this building. But our resolution, we're obviously doing this first group. We'll be coming back to you at a later date with not only information of how well that installation went, but also the awareness of pricing with organizations and making sure the next phase that we particularly choose is exactly the group of buildings we want to do at that particular date. So it's really going to be 3 resolutions. They won't be precisely the exact same number or the precise same number of buildings, but we felt it was a lot better to stage this over the next 3 to 4 years.
I think the question's a little different. The question is our next resolution is for the Illinois Tutoring Initiative and a contract from that, which is grant funded. And they're asking if there's any relationship between those two. There's no relationship.
No. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're on the wrong page. I'm sorry.
Any other questions or any confusions?
Did
If
we
not,
answer your question?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Resolution 2022.05/23, approval of contract with vendor, software for Illinois Tutoring Initiative. Illinois State University proudly launched the Illinois Tutoring Initiative, or ITI, in partnership with the Governor's Office, the Illinois State Board of Higher Education, the Illinois Board of Higher Education, and the Illinois Community College Board. The $25 million program will provide tutoring for approximately 8,500 Illinois students via tutors over the 2 years of the program, July 1 of 21 through June 30th of 2023. Current software and technology data solutions at ISU were unable to be scaled to meet the needs of this very large ITI project within the project timeline. The program initially contracted with Pearl to build, maintain, and support all data collection and reporting for project deliverables. Their additional proprietary tutoring platform provides the tools needed to onboard, match, schedule, manage, and report on hundreds of thousands of tutoring relationships at a time. The contract is critical for nimble response to project needs on a short project timeline. Pearl will provide services and deliverables as described in the resolution across the 2-year period of the ITI grant with a total project cost of $1 million. The source of the funding is from the grant itself. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and second to approve the resolution? I'll move. Second, Trustee Donahue. Is there discussion? So we couldn't do it last year?
This is a software platform. We were already using them to help. This grant came in on very short notice. Thank you, Craig. Come on up. Right. And it's very specific to this particular
I thought Dr.
grant.
Borders was going to come up. So Dr. Christy Borders leads this initiative effort, but I'm happy to answer it because it's grant related. It didn't need board approval because it was cheap enough to enact immediately, but then once it exceeded a $500,000 threshold, we felt we needed the approval of the board. Even though it's completely grant funded, that's our process to ask for your permission to do so.
Any other questions? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Thank you. Resolution 2022.05/24, approval of foundation support agreement. The Illinois State University Foundation's purpose is to solicit, secure, and manage private gifts and other resources, and to use those gifts and resources to support the distinctive excellence of Illinois State University in teaching, learning, scholarship, creativity, and service to others. The State of Illinois Legislative Audit Commission guidelines authorize the university to enter into a written contract with the foundation to provide such services. The Board of Trustees of Illinois State University and the foundation signed a memorandum of understanding in May 2008, which outlines the relationship and responsibilities of each entity in regard to provision of such services. Therefore, the university seeks Board of Trustee authorization to contract with the foundation for the provision of development and fundraising services for fiscal year 2023 for in-kind consideration not to exceed $2,843,000, a 3% increase over FY22, to address increasing costs in personnel and operating expenses. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and second to approve the resolution, please?
So move, Bone.
Second,
Second, Peony.
Peony. Is there any discussion?
Is that number, again, Pat probably would answer, for travel expenses and everything that goes into the fundraising and that, anticipating the increase in all these expenses and that, so?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution is approved.
Resolution 2022.05/25, approval of Connect Transit contract. Illinois State University and Connect Transit have maintained a longstanding partnership. The current partnership provides students, faculty, and staff access to fixed route, regularly published public transportation service throughout the Bloomington-Normal community, including the university campus. The university and Connect Transit are negotiating terms for a new multi-year agreement to provide transportation services to students, faculty, and staff. Under this new agreement, amounts owed will be based on usage of the system and service provided. This agreement represents a 3% increase over the current contract, utilizing estimated historical ridership and published maintenance cost data related to operating Redbird Express. Connect Transit has also agreed to provide the university with a credit for Redbird Express service hours not received during the COVID-19 pandemic. The credit, totaling approximately $35,000, will be applied evenly over the 3-year contract and effectively reduces the overall increase in the contract to approximately 1% each year. This results in an estimated annual payment of $584,048. Approximately 117%, or 6%, of additional funds could be added to the 3-year total to allow for increased ridership or increased maintenance costs that are calculated each year based on actual rider statistics and published yearly maintenance costs of the Connect Transit system. In addition, the new agreement with Connect Transit will allow Illinois State University to advertise on 2 individual Redbird Express buses. Connect Transit has agreed to waive the standard monthly advertising cost of $2,000 per month per bus for the 3-year agreement. This offers the university a collective savings of approximately $144,000 and represents an additional credit to the university for the reduction of services provided during the pandemic. The term of the agreement would be July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2025, and will have annual renewals based on actual performance metrics agreed to by both the university and Connect Transit on July 1st, 2023 and July 1st, 2024. The total funding over this 3-year agreement is projected not to exceed $1,868,760. The source of funding is student fee revenues. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
May I have a motion and a second to approve the resolution?
So moved.
So moved by trustee
Second.
Donahue, second trustee Peony. Any discussion? Trustee Bone?
I just have a couple, probably more comments than anything else. As I understand, the faculty and staff ride this also, correct? And there's not a payment that they,
That's correct. Thank you for asking that question. We offer the Connect Transit access both on campus and across the community on our Redbird card. So we have a very small number of ridership, faculty, staff, but we certainly do have some members of our employee base who do use it on a regular basis.
and during COVID, our numbers were not calculated for whatever reason, of how many of our students were riding, but we did pay the full amount,
Yes,
the
we did.
entire contract, because we did fulfill our obligation. And we're getting essentially, I know we're getting the decals, but we're essentially getting $35,000 back for that.
Yes, that's a part of the agreement. If I may, I'd appreciate the opportunity to bring Mike Gabicki up to the room. He was very instrumental in negotiating the contract, and he can speak more clearly to some of the contract terms and conditions that both parties had to work to, especially on that particular issue.
Yes, the 35,000 is low, but that's what the contract allowed. That's the reason we wanted to redo the contract, is it was a firm price contract where we didn't have, the only way we could actually reduce the price by anything was what Redbird Express wasn't running. And so the 35,000 was when Redbird Express, when they cut hours on us when we weren't expecting it. So we had to, that was all the amount we actually were allowed to recover. The other part of it, when they ended collecting fees, and they stopped actually taking swipes at the buses, so we couldn't tell who was going on the bus or not going on the bus. We still had a flat rate to pay for that. So that's why this new process that we went through, we now actually have numbers, we have ridership, we have maintenance costs, and one of the biggest things we got out of the contract as well is we did not put in anything for fuel surcharges, because eventually they want to put the electric buses on our routes. We just couldn't guarantee we'd have it in the next 3 years. We don't know what the supply is for those buses right now. So the next contract may have something on the electric buses and partnering with us on that as well.
You know, I appreciate your negotiation, and I understand this. I guess my comment is, I hope it's not lost on them that we did continue to fulfill our commitment throughout COVID, even though we had decreased ridership. And now they've increased us another 3%. And, you know, I think that's just something that it's difficult to swallow at some points. And I would recommend that perhaps we continue to look for other opportunities.
Thank you for bringing that up. I will just make one comment. We had very spirited discussions along those lines. And
bet
so
you
they were made quite clear that how the institution honored its obligations. They honored theirs by having the buses, but we made it quite clear going forward that this has to be a positive relationship, even in circumstances like that. And so I believe that's that type of negotiations, as well with a brand-new manager in the community and a board, which they have unanimously approved their portion of this particular agreement. And they realize that both they need ISU and we need them. Their grants are very much dependent on our ridership as well. So, but it's a very good relationship. We believe it's a lot healthier today than it has been in the last few years.
That's good. And I would venture to guess the reason they didn't swipe the students' IDs or whatever was because the rest of the community was riding for free during that time.
And it was also COVID rules. They were literally entering people in the backs of the buses, not up at the front.
Right. Thank you.
So what's the change in the new contract? I mean, is it, still, if we don't have as many riders, do we get money back, or do we?
Once a year, if you heard it in President Kinsey reading out,
Right,
that it's
I read
once
that.
a year, there is a recalculation. Ridership, we very much have technology. They have added Wi-Fi onto the buses, which they included that as well without having that charge. So each year, there'll be a reconciliation based on unique ridership, as well as some contractual obligations associated with maintenance cost that they
So do we
have.
a certain amount of ridership, and then they'll say and give us money, or I mean, you know, just to clarify that.
We set the contract at 9,500 unique riders, which means if you ride it once, you're a unique rider. If you ride it 283 times in the year, you're still one unique rider. The most we've ever been at was about 9,800 in 2018. We expect that 9,500 is going to be tough to get for a couple of years, so we're expecting we may see a reduction in the rate with a credit as well because of that, until we get more people interested in riding the buses. It's less than half of our students right now that ride, so there's room for them to grow, which we put in there to grow, but we've never been at anything higher than 9,800 yet.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The resolution is approved. Thank you.
And now we're to our last resolution, Resolution 2022.05/26, recognition of student trustee Devin Peony. Whereas Devin Peony was selected by her constituents at Illinois State University to represent their interests as a member of the Board of Trustees of Illinois State University. And whereas Devin Peony ably discharged that responsibility for the past year, while at the same time keeping in mind the interests of all the people of the state. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of Illinois State University expresses its sincere appreciation to Devin Peony for her service on the board and its hope for her success in all future endeavors. I ask for your approval of this resolution.
Could I have a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2021.05/26?
So moved.
Second.
Recognition of, can I finish? Recognition of student trustee Devin Peony, moved by trustee Dobsky, or trustee Donahue, seconded by trustee Bone. Is there any discussion? Trustee Donahue.
Thank you. I just want to tell Devin, thank you for what you brought to the board. I've listened to you during my time, and I've learned a lot from you. You're a very humble individual. You're a very intelligent individual. You're gonna make a great attorney, or whatever it is that you hope to be. And I've served with a number of student trustees, and they've all been good, and you're one of the best. So thank you for what you do for this university.
I think we all want to thank you. We've enjoyed having you on our board, and that's one area that it's quite interesting to be able to listen, and you'll be learning a lot of this too when you get there, and I think I would talk to Devin before you even get thrown in with the rest of us. So, having no more discussion, all those in favor of our resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
The resolution is approved. And I hope it'll be in your law office. Take a picture. Sorry, here we go. Oh, let's get you in the back. Yeah, get in the chair. Yep, you're good to be in the back. Thank you. And, oh, somebody on the phone. Yeah, there you go. You look better. Congratulations. Great. Devin, would you like to say anything?
I just want to say thank you to everybody who has ever answered a question of mine, or has just lended a listening ear. I think I've just really appreciated everything that I've learned this year, and I hope that, Anil, this will be a great learning experience for you, and you'll use this to advocate for the student body and the university. So I'm just very grateful for, this opportunity, and I hope it'll be amazing for you as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. I would now like to entertain a motion to move into executive session for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees pursuant to 5 ILCS Section 120/2C1, collective negotiating matters between the university and its employees, 5 ILCS Section 120/2C2, litigation which has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or is probable or imminent or allowed in 5 ILCS Section 120/2C11, and the purpose or lease of real property is allowed in 5 ILCS Section 122C5. May I have a motion and a second to approve, to move into executive session?
So moved.
So moved by trustee Donahue, second by trustee Bone. Trustee Bone, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Bone, aye. Trustee Dobsky.
Aye.
Trustee Donahue.
Aye.
Trustee Jones. Trustee Lauterback.
Aye.
Trustee Navarro.
Aye.
Trustee Peony.
Aye.
The motion is approved. We will now move into executive session. Following the executive session, the board will move back into public session solely for the purpose of adjournment. Thank you very much for coming today. And I'd say we got through that pretty good. That was a lot. You know, we're still catching up from COVID.
Oh, I know.
I'm hopeful that moving forward.
I know.
I mean, I'm,
Those
I
two
know,
wrap-
I
No,
know.
the two wrap buses will get rid of 2 of those darn, Young America buses.
yes, I understand.
So there's a value to getting their stupid buses off here. I know.
No, I know,
But, I have,
you weren't here.